At 2:11 a.m., my store door unlocked itself. With the spare key I hid under the coffee can. I work nights at a 24-hour gas station just outside a small town in Missouri. The kind of place with one pump that's always broken. Coffee that tastes like cardboard, and regulars who know your schedule better than your manager does. It's quiet most nights. I don't mind the quiet. And keep the radio low, wipe counters, and watch the same 2 trucks roll down Highway 9 every hour like clockwork. I like routine. It keeps my head straight. My shift starts at 10 p.m. and ends at 6. Around midnight, I usually step out to dump trash and take a quick breath of air. I always keep the front door locked during that break, except for one small flaw. The spare key I keep under a metal coffee can behind the register. It's stupid, I know. The manager insists we have one nearby just in case the lock jams. So it stays there, taped to the inside lip of the can. No one's ever touched it. Until that night. It was a Thursday when the man came in. He wasn't new. Just one of those customers who drifts in once or twice a week, the kind you barely remember but always recognize. Tall, clean shirt, kind of quiet. Always bought the same thing, a pack of gum and an energy drink. He came in around 11:37 p.m., leaned against the counter while I scanned his stuff, and smiled the polite kind of smile people wear when they want to chat. "You always work this late?" he asked. "Most nights," I said. "Someone's got to keep the lights on," he chuckled softly. "Doesn't it get creepy being here alone?" I shrugged. "Only if you think about it too much." He looked around, slow, eyes tracing the aisles like he was memorizing them. "Guess you get used to it," he said. "Where's the trash kept?" "Just curious how you manage all this by yourself." I pointed toward the back door. "Out that way. Dumpster's behind the icebox." He nodded, still smiling, then looked down at the counter. His hand brushed close to the metal coffee can near the register. He tapped it once, like testing the sound. "You keep coins in here?" "Spare change," I lied. He didn't say anything else. Paid, left, and the door chimed behind him. I thought nothing of it. Around 1:10 a.m., I did my trash run. The lot was empty, only the buzz of the fluorescent sign overhead and the hiss of a far-off truck. When I came back inside, the air felt different. Like someone had been there just a second before me. The can by the register was slightly moved. Not much, just rotated a few inches. Enough that I noticed because I'm obsessive about where things sit. I lifted the can. The spare key was gone, my stomach sank. For a moment I told myself I'd moved it without remembering. I even checked my pockets, the drawer, the counter. Nothing. I felt stupidly exposed. It's a thin door between you and the world at 2 a.m., and suddenly, mine didn't feel locked anymore. At 2:11 a.m., it happened. The door beeped once, the soft electronic chirp that signals when the latch releases. I froze. I hadn't touched the panel. Nobody buzzed in. The lock clicked, smooth and deliberate, and the glass door swung open on its own. Cold air rolled in from the parking lot. The lights above the pumps flickered once. No one stood there. I grabbed the phone with shaking hands, called my manager, and stammered out what happened. He told me to check the cameras and don't overreact, so I did. The CCTV system is ancient, 4 grainy feeds looping every 12 hours. I scrolled back to 11:37 p.m., when the man had been there. I watched him walk up to the counter, same smile, same quiet manner. Then, as I handed him his receipt, his left hand drifted below frame, under the register. A few seconds later, he stood straight, both hands visible again. Except I knew the key had been taped right under that spot. I replayed it 3 times, slow. The angle was bad, but I could see the flicker of his fingers under the edge of the counter. I called the sheriff's office. 2 deputies showed up 20 minutes later, looked at the footage, and exchanged that polite nod cops give when they don't want to say you're imagining things. "Door lock might be glitching," one said. "These electric systems act up sometimes." "Then why's the spare key missing?" I asked. He wrote it down on his pad like he didn't hear me. When they left, the store felt emptier than before. I made it through the rest of the shift by keeping the lights brighter than usual. I even set a heavy milk crate against the inside of the door. It didn't make me feel safer, but at least it felt like something. At 5:52 a.m., just before dawn, I checked the trash area outside one last time. That's when I found the note, folded once and tucked under the mat. It was written on one of our receipt papers in pen. Thanks for trusting me, not the first time. I stared at it until the letters stopped making sense. I didn't go back the next night. The manager called, annoyed, asked if I was quitting. I said yes before I even realized it. A week later, I started at another store about 20 miles north. New locks. New cameras. No spare key under the counter. But on my second night there, my phone buzzed at 2:11 a.m. It was an alert from the old store's system. The smart lock app was still connected to my account. Front door, opened. Time, 2:11 a.m. No one was scheduled there. The building was empty. I stared at the notification for a long time before I finally deleted the app. Still, sometimes, out of habit, I check my phone around that same time, and every now and then, even without the app installed, I swear I still see a flash of blue light on my screen, like something's trying to tell me the door's open again. Tagline, she moved stores. But every night at 2:11 a.m., her phone still pings, door opened. At 1:06 a.m., my phone said, unknown accessory moving with you. And the map line ended at my apartment. I deliver food at night. Not because I like it, but because it's quiet. The city sleeps, and the noise that's left is predictable. Engines, late trains, crosswalk beeps. Predictable means safe. I'd been doing it for a year, and I'd built my own little routine. I'd ride from 7 p.m. till around 2 a.m., take the late-night orders nobody else wanted, empty diners, all-night burger joints, warehouse drop-offs. The money was better at that hour, and you didn't have to deal with traffic. Just cold air, radio hum, and the glow of your screen. That night, I remember the air being unusually still. No wind, no chatter from the open bars. It was one of those nights where even your own tires sound too loud. 2:42 a.m., I picked up an order from a kebab shop on the east side. Double bag, decent tip. I strapped it into the insulated carrier and started riding west. My route was mostly empty streets, all green lights, nothing weird, until I stopped at a light and saw a dark sedan in my mirror. No big deal. Lots of people drive slow downtown at night, but I noticed it stayed behind me for 5 straight turns. Not tailgating, not passing, just there. When I finally pulled up to the customer's building, I parked near the front door and waited for them to buzz me in. The sedan stopped across the street, idling. I stared at it a little too long, and the driver flashed his headlights once. I felt stupid for being paranoid, so I ignored it. Dropped off the food, took a picture, marked the order complete. When I looked back outside, the sedan was gone. 6 a.m. I got another ping, but this one wasn't an order. It was a system notification I'd never seen before. Unknown accessory detected moving with you. Below it, my phone showed a small radar circle pulsing near my location. The message said it was tracking via Bluetooth and to check your belongings. I frowned, thinking maybe one of my wireless earbuds had glitched. I opened the Find My app and saw a blinking dot following my blue one. When I zoomed out, the dot trailed perfectly behind my location, each turn, each pause. I stopped on a side street, got off the bike, and dumped the delivery bag on the ground. I checked my pockets, my jacket, even my helmet. Nothing. When I looked back up, the sedan was at the corner again. Engine running. I decided to keep moving. The ping followed. 18 a.m. Another alert popped up. This one had a map. The unknown accessory had stored a route. My exact ride path from the last 20 minutes. The endpoint glowed bright blue, labeled home. That's when the panic really hit. Because I've never entered my home address anywhere on the delivery app. It's not listed, not saved. Even the system doesn't know where I live. I took a detour through a 24-hour grocery store parking lot, hoping to lose whoever was following. I rode in circles for a few minutes, pretending to wait for an order. The sedan crept past the entrance once, then twice, then parked across the street again. I kept my head down and called the police non-emergency line. The dispatcher told me to find a safe public area and wait for an officer. 6 a.m. I rolled into a well-lit gas station and parked by the front doors. Inside, I pretended to browse snacks while watching the car through the window. It idled near the exit, driver still inside. When I checked my phone again, the Bluetooth alert was still live. The accessory was within 5 feet. That's when I realized it wasn't on me. It was probably on the bike. I stepped outside and started feeling along the frame, the handlebar mounts, the carrier bag. The clerk came out to smoke and asked if I was okay. I told him I thought someone might have attached something to my bike. He just shrugged and said, "People do weird stuff, man." After a few minutes, I found it, a small black magnet square tucked under the insulation seam of my delivery bag. Smooth plastic, no logo, warm from the motor. I peeled it off and tossed it on the counter. "You got a signal blocker or something?" I asked the clerk. He just stared. I didn't wait for the police. I drove straight to the nearest station. At the desk, the officer scanned the device with a handheld reader. "Yep," he said. "Bluetooth tracker. Common for car thefts, sometimes stalking. Can you trace who placed it?" I asked. He shook his head. "Not easily. They're cheap and disposable." "You said it mapped to your home?" I nodded. He frowned. "That means whoever set it up had access to your location history, or already knew your address. They took a report, gave me a case number, and told me to keep the tracker turned off. I should have felt better walking out, but I didn't." The city was silent again. Every parked car looked the same. Every headlight felt aimed at me. When I got home, I set my phone to airplane mode, powered it off, and tossed it on the counter. I showered, sat on the couch, stared at the blank TV screen for a long time. I told myself it was over, that whoever had done it was probably some tech-obsessed thief looking for a pattern, not me specifically. But then I remembered how the map line ended exactly at my apartment, not the general area. Exact building, exact floor. I barely slept. 1 week later, I started my first shift back. I'd replaced my delivery bag, changed my number, even wiped my phone. I thought maybe I'd finally outsmarted whatever that was. But around 1:06 a.m., my phone buzzed again. No sound, just a vibration that felt too familiar. When I unlocked it, there was a new notification, unknown accessory detected nearby, but this time, it didn't say moving with you. The alert showed a static dot, stationary, the location, inside my building lobby. It didn't trail my route, didn't follow my bike. It was already there, waiting. I went downstairs, slowly, heart hammering against my ribs. The lobby was empty, just mailboxes, faint buzz of the elevator light. I didn't see anyone, but the security camera over the door blinked red once, and for a split second, the reflection in the glass showed a man's shape behind me. Hooded, motionless, blurred by the light. When I turned around, nothing was there. Tagline 1 week later, the alert repeated, this time from inside his building lobby.
At 1:12 a.m., my phone pinged with a pickup from a user I blocked last month. The name was different. The photo wasn't. I drive nights in a mid-sized city because nights keep me awake and honest. Tuesday into Wednesday is slow. Airport runs, board bar staff, a couple of hospital trips. That night felt normal until 1:12 a.m. My driver app pinged, pickup 6 minutes away. The user's name said Matt, a blank smile in the profile photo. Only, I knew that face. Same jaw, same mole near the left eye. I had blocked a guy with that face after he tried to hold my door shut from inside and finish the ride at his place. The company told me to report and move on. I did. I took this new ride anyway because the map showed a busy gas station. Cameras, attendants, I figured safe enough. When I pulled in, the lot was empty except for one old sedan at pump 3. The app ticked down. Arriving. Waiting. No one approached. After 2 minutes, the rider messaged, "I see you. Headlights off. I'll come to you." My headlights were already off. A man stepped from behind the ice freezer. Hood up, hands in pockets. He didn't wave. He didn't run. He walked the way people walk when they already know your name. I hit cancel, no show, and rolled forward. But he angled to the passenger side and smiled like we were sharing a joke I didn't get. The app pinged again. New ride. Same destination. Same surge. Different name. Same photo. I left the lot. I didn't floor it because flooring it looks scared. And scared looks interesting to the wrong kind of person. I took 2 lefts, 1 right, slid into a lit grocery parking row, and locked the doors. 1:19 a.m. The app pinged a 3rd time. Pickup confirmed. But I hadn't accepted anything. The pin showed my exact stall number. I don't mean nearby. I mean the little blue dot was sitting right where my bumper was. The chat bubble popped. "Don't move. I'll get in." I turned the car back on and went for the exit. As I passed the glass front of the store, I checked the reflection because sometimes reflections show the thing you miss in mirrors. A second figure stood behind my trunk. He had been crouched low, now rising. He slapped the rear hatch as I pulled into the street, one open hand fast, and something clicked on my phone holder. The ride app closed itself. Maps opened. A route began, from my location to my home address. I swear I never tapped it. My home address should have been buried in settings under Do Not Share. But there it was, a bright blue line like a promise. I drove to the police station instead and parked under the bright white lamps. I shut everything down, car, phone, the useless nerve that tells you to be polite. 10 minutes later, I checked my back hatch. There was a small black square stuck under the lip by the license plate. A cheap Bluetooth tracker, warm like someone had pinched it a lot. I moved that month. New phone, new number, new lock. Last week, 1:12 a.m. on the dot, a notification hit my screen, even though I'd turned everything off that could share. It wasn't the rideshare app. It was a calendar invite titled, Home? The location field was empty. The description said, Headlights off. At 2:03 a.m., the baby monitor whispered, He's thirsty, and a glass of water slid across the kitchen table by itself. I take babysitting gigs through a neighborhood app. I like the easy ones, sleeping babies, parents home by 2, cash on the counter. The Bensons lived in a brick duplex near the park. Nice people. 2 cameras inside, 1 outside. Their son Theo had a soft blue nightlight that made the room feel like an aquarium. He was already asleep when they left at 10:42 p.m. Around midnight I did the rounds. Doors locked, stove off, dog watered. At 1:31 a.m. the hallway camera pinged my phone. Just the auto motion on the heat vent. Normal. I texted Mom. All good. At 2:03 a.m. the baby monitor crackled. Not static. Not Theo. A voice. It was small and flat, like a recording from a pocket. It said, He's thirsty. I froze. Then I heard water. Not running, sliding. In the kitchen, the half-full glass I'd left near the sink was inching across the table all by itself. Not fast, not dramatic. Just enough to tell me I wasn't alone in deciding where things go. I lifted the monitor screen. Theo was on his side, breathing slow. A shadow crossed the blue light from left to right, like someone walked between the nightlight and the crib. I stepped into the hall and the floorboard by the vent popped, as if someone shifted their weight there to avoid another creak. I said, hello? To no one and everyone. I took the dog with me because courage is easier with paws. Theo's door was open exactly 3 inches, a parent's measure. I pushed it slowly. The room felt colder than the hall. The baby slept. The nightlight showed empty corners, perfect toy bins, and the monitor on the dresser with its little antenna aimed at me like a finger. The closet door clicked. Not opened. Clicked, like the latch was pressed and released by someone who has done that to be funny before. I whispered, Mr. Benson? Like maybe the dad had come back for his wallet. The dog's hackles rose and he leaned his weight into my shin. The closet didn't open. Back in the kitchen, the glass now sat at the table's edge, a dark ring where it had started. The hallway camera pinged again. Person detected. The thumbnail showed me in the hall from behind, except I was in the kitchen. When I tapped live view, the image flipped to the current feed. An empty hallway, the blue leak of the nightlight at the far end. I set the glass on the counter, put a new one beside it, and filled both with water. Then I said, out loud, to the room that had no one, We're good. He's good. The monitor breathed static like a sleeping animal. I sat on the couch and counted my breaths until I heard keys at 2:41 a.m. In the morning, Mrs. Benson texted, Thank you. Weird. Theo drank 2 full bottles last night and his sippy was still full. Did you top it up? I typed no, then deleted it and wrote, He was fine. A week later, they messaged again. Hey, strange question. Did you ever hear a voice on the monitor? It said he's thirsty around 2 a.m. I stared at the phone. Another message came before I replied. Also, do you know why there's a water ring on the kitchen table? Under his baby cup? At 3:09 a.m., the front desk phone rang from a room we had shut down for repairs. When I answered, the caller whispered my name. I worked night audit at a 12-story hotel off the highway. Weeknights are dead. Truckers, nurses, one band with too much gear. We kept room 1407 out of service because a water line burst 2 weeks earlier. Maintenance stripped the drywall. No bed, no carpet, just concrete and silver pipes like exposed bones. At 3:09 a.m., the switchboard lit. 1407, front desk. It shouldn't have been able to dial out. I picked up because curiosity is the last free thing we have. Front desk, I said. Silence. Then a whisper. You left the key. I looked at the pegboard. The master key ring had one hook empty. 1407, maint. I told myself it was a crosswire or a bored kid on a cordless. I pressed the elevator button and rode up with the ice bucket cart because carts make good excuses to be where you shouldn't. The hallway on 14 smelled like cut drywall and lemon. The door to 1407 was closed, paper sign taped on crooked, "Do not enter" in block letters. The doorknob turned under my hand like someone on the other side had already decided yes. Inside, bare studs, taped pipes, a window cloudy with dust. No phone on the desk because there was no desk. Only a phone plate in the wall with a cut cord tucked behind. I stood still until the silence felt like pressure, then stepped back out and locked the door. On the elevator down, the car stopped at 11 with no one waiting. The doors opened to an empty hall, then closed. The indicator flashed 14 and the car went up by itself. The doors opened on me. I saw my own reflection in the elevator's stainless steel, except the reflection's tie was straight. Mine was not. Back at the desk, the printer had spat 2 feet of paper. Call log. I scrolled it mindlessly until the same time stamped over and over filled a block. 3:09 a.m., 1407, front desk, 12 attempts. I had answered once. 11 rings to no one. At 3:21 a.m., my cell phone buzzed. Unknown number. I don't give my number to guests. It's not on file. I silenced it. The hotel phone rang again. 1407. I let it ring 8 times. It stopped. The elevator dinged. A housekeeping cart rolled into the lobby without a person. The rubber wheel made a chirp every third rotation like a small bird trying to sing underwater. I checked the night camera and rewound. In the grainy footage, the cart slid from the service corridor at a steady angle. Wheels aimed true, no push. The footage glitched right as it crossed a shadow near the wall, and then it was a foot closer to me like time had cut. At 3:29 a.m., I went back to 1407, because sometimes you test the hot pan to prove your hand is still yours. The paper sign now read, "Do not re-enter." Tiny difference, same pen. The key turned, stubborn. Inside, on the exposed stud where a nightstand would be, someone had pinned a towel tag with the date from last week, and my first name written in blocky letters. Not my handwriting. I brought it down in a plastic bag and left it by the manager's computer. When the day shift came in, I told him about the call. He said crosswires happen and towel tags get misplaced. He tossed the bag toward the laundry bin. The tag fell out on the carpet face up. My name was smudged like it had been wet, the ink dragged by a fingertip. I quit 2 nights later. Sometimes at 3:09 a.m., my old work email pings with a voicemail transcription from a number labeled unavailable. It always begins with the same 2 words, "You left." I delete it before it finishes.